Hello, welcome back to another installation of What Will Lou Do. Today we have yet another SIG case for you. Yes, it is another P365. I don't know, I really love this lineup. My first one was the NRA Coyote edition, right? Your standard P365. The next one that I would end up getting was the Spectre Comp. It also was in the Coyote Tan. And then eventually I got the P365 XL. It also was in Coyote Tan. So, is this one going to be in Coyote Tan? Well, you'll have to wait and see. But what I had decided to do was, you know what? I'm going to complete this lineup. Yes, I use these to train with and to fire and all that good stuff. But it's become one of the things that I like to collect. This particular model is the P365X. We've got the standard version, then you've got the X, then you've got the XL, then you had the XL Spectre, then the XL Spectre Comp, and then I believe eventually they come up with the X Macro. It might have been switched around there at the end. It may have been the X Macro, then the Spectre Comp. I'm not sure. And then they have the Legion P365 in X Macro. So quite a bit of variations in the P365 lineup. And as far as the X Macro goes, it's mainly the grip module. I don't really, it's just so long and I don't know. What I really liked about these was how compact they were. And that's really why I've been so enamored with them, I guess. And, you know, not to mention the quality and just how good they feel and how well they shoot. And so, yeah, I've got another one here and I'm going to show you guys. That way, you know, if you are stuck between, should I get a standard? Should I get an X? Should I get an XL? Should I get the X Macro? Should I get the XL Spectre Comp, right? Should I get, you know, a bazooka? What do I do? Maybe this will help you decide. So without further ado, let's get into it, right? So you see here, we've got a case, good old plastic snaps here, right? So we'll just go ahead and undo those. And wada bing. Oh, that looks a little bit dirty. Better. All right, so you can see I got a blackened. How dare you! Unfortunately, they did not make this particular slide in Coyote Tan with the optic cut. Now they do have an option with the X on it that's in Coyote Tan and all, but it's about $300. I'm gonna call that good. Now one thing right off the bat that I will say was a bummer was there's only 2 magazines with this one, which was surprising. I guess it may be just their special editions that comes with 3 mags, but every other one I have has 3 magazines. The standard version, the XL, and the Spectre Comp. All 3 of them have 3 mags. This is the first one I've gotten that only had 2, so I'm not sure what that's about, but anyway, it comes with 2 12-round mags. Otherwise, what comes in here is basically your typical stuff. These lovely little locks that they just love throwing away. And then you get your instruction manual. The full version, you actually download it. And you get a sticker, which I have so many of these and I don't know what to do with them. You see these with the XL? They don't actually have that anymore because the XL models, when you took this optics plate off, you lost your rear sights. So there was absolutely no co-witness. Not a really smart thing they did there. You pretty much won't find any nowadays that have an XL on it and it be the updated version. So just keep that in mind. If you see one that just has an X, that doesn't necessarily mean it's an X. It may be the XL version that pokes out about another ½ inch, I'd say. If you grab the wrong one and you have to lose those sights, that may be problematic in the future. So that's everything you get in the box. We will just take all this out and set this aside. Okay, so like we normally do, we're going to get some weights and measurements. So empty without a magazine, looking at 16 ounces. Empty with a magazine, 18.3. Okay, so that's 12 rounds exactly. And those are Hornady 115 hollows. And so if you added one more round, you'd probably be looking at 21 grams with it loaded. Overall slide length is right at just a tad over 5.5 inches. Width is very narrow at just a tad over an inch, or sorry, 3/8 of an inch. From back here to the butt is just a tad under 4¼ inches right there. So maybe like 4 1/8. And the width of the grip is about an inch. Alrighty, so let you have a look at her. Very nice. I do like it. It does look very nice in the black, I gotta admit. One thing I do wish though was that the slide was closer to this complexion, just because it makes this slide look a bit faded. But their slides are Cerakoted. There are issues with the Cerakote. It's either on too thick or too thin. You just notice there's these typical spots where it wears off and you don't even really have to scratch it. You know, friction and boom, there's a wear spot right there. So that's one thing I really wish that they would improve upon, is the Cerakote jobs. But otherwise, I really enjoy their P365 lineup, and I'm looking forward to getting to experience some of their other products. And so, like I said, the offerings with this one is just two 12-round magazines, and you can see they fit flush. And right here, we do have a flare. This is one of the things that they changed from the standard model. It did not have this flare here, and the flare ideally makes it easier for that magazine to go in, because it has a bit of an angle. It just kind of more intuitively makes your magazine know where to go. That's one thing they did change from the standard model. Texture on here is very nice. It is the same on your standard model. You've got texturing there all around on the sides. I've heard some people, say, oh, it rubbed my belly, it hurt. It's not that coarse, but how I don't notice this is I just wear a compression shirt underneath. That way, because whether it's this, whether it's the Smith & Wesson, the Shield, feeling this all day long, it is eventually going to rub a spot on your stomach. So I just keep one of those shirts on, and it's not like the same as having a tank top on or just a plain white t-shirt, because those are going to be a lot heavier. Whereas the compression shirts are a breathable material, moisture wicking, and, they tuck in well and they just kind of stay put. So that's how I get around ever feeling any kind of discomfort from the grips on my firearms. This one does have a safety, not something that I prefer on my firearms. I don't ever want it to be on and I go to pull the trigger and I just get a stoppage, That's something I don't usually prefer. However, it is something that I don't see that you could accidentally bump. Like, I'm literally just lightly trying to flick it. I don't think that's ever going to just accidentally get flicked on. Like, you got to put some force into it to get that to go up. As far as controls go, everything is right where you need it. It's got boom, 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 boom. So if you wanted to throw your safety on, you can do that and go back to work or throw that mag out. Whatever you need to do. And speaking of the mag release, right, the button is very easy to press. One of the things that people complained about with the standard version, especially people with the larger hands, was because the grip was so small, when you were gripping it, the meat of your hand would kind of stop the magazine from coming out. I think that's probably another reason they did the swell at the magwell here. Flaring it out like that, I think, kept the meat of people's hand away from stopping the magazine right there, because you see now it comes right out. SIG does make theirs where you can reverse them if you want. So if you're a lefty and you need this on this hand, you can just kind of take that out and switch it around to the other side. So that's good. Your slide release is right here, and it works pretty well. Theirs functions more like a slide lock than a slide release. So a lot of people, they pull it back and they just expect to be able to wham, 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 right? But that's not really the way that theirs is meant to function. Like I said, it's more so to stop the slide. So when it goes back, you take this out, and when you put another loaded magazine in there, and then you're going to be able to release that. You know, all the other P365s that I have, I can still release this just like it is. The takedown levers right here, you just swing it back. First of all, you got to take your magazine out. Sometimes forget to do that. And so you swing it down, and then you let it go, and then boom, it comes right off. And so when you want to put it back on, you just slide that, let that, and then boom, it's back on. Trigger is another thing they changed from your standard version. The other one has a curved trigger, and this is, I believe, where they introduced the flat trigger. There's not really a difference as far as performance goes. They don't have the same firing mechanism. You know, it's kind of like this plug and play that you just take it and drop it in. Very cool, by the way. But this is just more so for how do you feel about it, you know? You like it flat, you like it curved. It's just up to you. But let's have a look at the trigger here. So you've got the wall right there, almost straight up and down. And then you're going to brake. All right, and let it go. Right there, at the wall again. Brake. Okay, so kind of a long reset, but the trigger also, in the beginning, it kind of skids a little bit when you go to let it slow. You just notice a kind of a drag, I guess you would call it. But if you just pull it, perfectly fine. It is a good trigger. I wouldn't say it's a great trigger, but it gets the job done just fine. Definitely better than a Glock trigger. So we do have an accessory rail here. It is small, but they do have light options for it. Let me get this is the standard P365, the Coyote 10. You can get this light right here, the TLR6 for these, and these work great. I have a lot of these for my SIGs, for my Smith & Wessons, even for my 43X, and I've not had a problem with any of them. So as far as an efficient, affordable option, definitely Streamlight TLR6 for the win. So front and rear slide serration, both sets work. These really do grip your fingers very well, so you can do your little press checks. Clear, and then you can grab it from the back. It's very easy to catch your fingers on those and to pull it back. No problemo. So since we're at the back, we'll just talk about the sights. You can see we do have the tritium inserts that they glow, which we're commonly referred to as night sights. Bright green dot right there. And this is kind of what you'll see during the day. This one will be really bright, and these are almost black. Now, this version is optics ready. This plate here is steel. It's not plastic like some of the other ones. Now, all the ones that I have with this, they are metal, but the Rose 380, for whatever reason, is actually plastic. And this one, the Smith & Wesson, this one was plastic too. I prefer it to be metal like this just because the finish is more uniform, whereas when it's plastic, you can definitely tell a difference. And also, it just screams higher quality, you know. I now have 3 of the P365s that are optics ready. One of them has the Holosun 507K, and one has one of the Romeo red dots. So I'm experimenting with those a bit. You know, I'm definitely not someone who's a pro with a red dot yet, but I am. It is definitely something that I'm practicing with. So the barrel is 3 inches. The XL is, I believe, 4-inch barrel. Now the Spectre Comp actually uses the 3-inch because this much of the end is compensated. There's a nice barrel too. It's not like most of them where I begin to see wear marks on them. The coating that they put on their barrels is really strong, except for one common area, and it happens on every one of them. Eventually you get a nick right there, just a little gash. Actually, hold on, let me show you. So right there, you see, you just get these little nicks on there for some reason on that part of the barrel. And I'm not sure why that is. I'm guessing it's something was cut in here and eventually it hits it. Not quite sure, but yeah, eventually you'll just see a beep, Boop. Speaking of the barrel, it does have the loaded chamber indicator. You look down in there, you should see brass. And right there, you can see it a little bit too, but I caution folks just to perform a press check or to either just pull it back a little bit and check it that way. That way you know with a certainty whether or not there is a round in there. But yeah, so definitely a sweet piece. All right, so lastly, I just want to show you guys the difference in the models. Now we have the standard, the X, and then the XL. Now, like I said, you'll see this has an X, you'll see that has an X. The old ones that actually had the L, if you were to put a red dot on here, the sights went bye-bye. So that was the difference between the X and the XL. Now, like I said, they've done away with that, and now it's just an X on there. So this actually is a 10-round grip, and you could put the 12 round in here, and you wound up with this grip. So this is basically now made for 12 rounds. Now, like I said, they do have the California compliant one that they've, kind of blocked that off a bit, and it only accepts 10. But that is one of the differences. And also you can see the curved trigger here. The flat has basically become their standard. As far as the P365 lineup. It's pretty much standard to have a flared magwell and a longer beaver tail. I did forget to mention that, right? This one is flush, whereas here comes out more. And so that is basically designed to keep your skin getting bunched up and it possibly giving you slide bite or anything like that, right? So that's basically the theory behind the longer beaver tail there. So pretty much this is basically like your happy medium, I guess. If you wanted something smaller, then you would probably go with the standard version. If you wanted to be a little bit bigger and maybe a little less recoil, you would want to go with your XL version. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you got something out of it. I like sharing these things with you, but the main thing I really like is introducing people to products that I enjoy, that I think are good quality, that I think others will get much enjoyment out of, and the same good quality. There's going to be some people that hate on SIG. There's going to be people like me that hate on Glocks. You can't please everybody. I like a wide variety of firearms brands, but SIG is, the one I've found consistency with. That's what I like, consistency. So I pick up this next model, I expect to find the same good quality, right? I don't expect this one to be this way and this one to have these issues or this one to have, you know what I mean? Like, I pretty much know what I'm getting when I get one of these. And so I think that's going to wrap this video up. If you found this video helpful, we ask that you strike that like, swell that bell. We're all appreciated, baby. We appreciate you guys for watching. As we always say, seek the Lord while he may be found, and call upon him while he is near, because he is near unto those that be of a broken heart, and save such that be of a contrite spirit. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. He resists the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. So cast yourselves down before the Lord, and he will lift you up. Until next time, guys, take care, and God bless.